Scare Chapman and Rod McKenzie here after the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets take down the Clemson Tigers 24-21 on an Aiden Burr 55-yard field goal as Brent Key and the Yellow Jackets move to 7-1 over ranked opponents. Just an unbelievable win here for the Yellow Jackets. We're going to give you our rapid reactions here for 247sportsgojackets.com. My first big one here, Haynes King just continues to be the guy for this team. 25 carries for him. He goes over 100 yards on that last drive right before they had that fire drill and run in and kick that game winner. Just an unbelievable final effort here for Haynes King. They are mostly in control of this game, but I would say Clemson, they definitely stormed back in here in the second half early on, but Georgia Tech did a good job of kind of recovering there.
Yeah, there was a lot of twists and turns in that second half and key plays where you thought, well, man, you know, the run up with 3rd and 20. That was the first one that came along, and you figure, well, if Georgia Tech can't recover from this, it might be a long day, because Klubnik was passing the ball pretty well. He was running the ball, but you know, the thing that struck me the most was the post-game press conference where Brent Key, who usually can talk for quite a time, you know, in his opening statement, was too emotional to even talk.
It's true.
And that emotion was happiness, joy. You know, based on where they came from when he took over to where they are now. And of course, everyone, you know, that follows football knew that the Clemson game was the next step for Georgia Tech if they wanted to move up that ladder. And, you know, Haynes King always finds a way, like you said, you know, and he got them into position. And Aiden Burr, you know, he had a lot of ups and downs last year. People were mad at him. Fan base was mad at him. At the end of the game, I don't think the fan base was mad at him today.
No, we had 50,000 students storming the field here after a huge win here for Georgia Tech. Omar Daniels is the highlight of the defense. He gets one interception. He gets one forced fumble that ends up going the other way. Georgia Tech not really able to take advantage of either of those. They actually net like -8 on the yards actually preceding those turnovers here. But Georgia Tech, they win the big moments here, even though they're not very effective in short yardage situations, but they are when it matters most. And Aiden Burr, like we mentioned, he steps in and has a big day here. One other quick nugget here, just as something to watch as we're moving forward through the rest of the regular season. Pittsburgh is up next here for this team, or not Pittsburgh, excuse me, Temple, the other team from the great state of Pennsylvania, the Owls, here at Bobby Dodd Stadium, 4:30 kickoff here next week. But it's the involvement of Isaiah Canyon, the wide receiver. He's really started to establish himself as a very important figurehead in this offense.
5 targets today, 5 catches, and you know, he had that big catch in the back of the end zone last week, and he, you know, Haynes King talked about how hard he's worked, and was excited to see where he is right now. And that, when you think about all the targets that King has right now, you add him to, you know, Rutherford and Rivers and Bailey Stockton, you know, he can really spread the ball around if he needs to. And you know, Bailey Stockton, you know, he showed some sure hands today, diving catch on that one drive. And you know, but I think that the offensive guys were quick today to talk about the defense and how the defense kept the team in the game.
Yep.
And that allowed them to go out there and do what they did with 3 minutes and 23 seconds left on the clock after Clemson had tied the game.
Yeah, man, you talk about the adversity that this team has faced early on in the season. You have 3 turnovers in your first 3 drives against Colorado on the road, against the elements, everything else, and the elevation, everything there. The defense steps up, they respond, Rod. And then you have the next game. Of course, you're playing Gardner Webb, an FCS opponent, but you have 2 turnovers on the first 2 drives. This team was ready for this moment. I really felt like they had faced this adversity. This is something that Brent Key mentioned, like you said. They've been building over the last 3 years of Brent Key, and this is something that's been a long time coming here for the Yellow Jackets. But an awesome win, and you talk about the magnitude of beating Clemson in this environment. 24-21 is your final score, but this is the cream of the crop in the ACC over the last decade. Dabo Swinney has dominated this conference, and for Georgia Tech to come in here and make a statement like they did, where they control this game for much of the first half, up until Kate Klubnik leads the Tigers on a long drive here to end the half, and then they come out in the second half and reclaim the lead, or they claimed the lead quickly in the second half. But for Georgia Tech to respond and to play the way that they did down the stretch against the creme de la creme of the ACC is a big win here. Final thoughts here for you, Rob.
Yeah, I think the other thing, you know, you talked about the first 2 games with the turnovers on the first drive. No turnovers today on the first drive, but they had, you know, 1st and goal, then it became 3rd and goal with 1 yard to go, 4th and 1, and they couldn't move the ball. So that was almost the same as a turnover, you know, as far as, you know, where the offense, you know, you had to wonder, well, what are they going to be like when they come out again? So they were able to, you know, Key talks about adversity a lot, and they overcame that adversity, and Key finished with over 100 yards rushing. You know, I didn't see what the final stat was on passing, but he got the job done today, and you may see him when they give out the awards on Monday.
Yeah, 211 yards passing here for Haynes King in this one. And Brent Key did mention Haynes Key plays through Haynes King. That's what he feels like. Just a fantastic effort here from the Yellow Jackets. 24-21 is your final score. We got full coverage coming your way. GoJackets.com, so go check that out. My name is Garrett Chapman for Rod McKenzie. We're here at Bobby Dodd Stadium where the final score, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets take down Clemson 24-21. Thanks so much for joining. We'll see you soon.
Go Jackets.